perspective and levels. And what the platelets in our blood does is help to create clotting and stop bleeding. Now, if you have not enough platelets, your body becomes too thin, and you can't stop bleeding. If it's too many blood platelets, then what happens? The blood becomes too thick and it clots really, really bad, which can cause many, many things, strokes, etc. Okay, so we need the platelets, we need the bone marrow and everything to work. And one last organ that I want to mention is the thymus. And the thymus is a little tiny organ right between the lungs, right below the sternum. And that one is about 1 ounce in weight, but it's very, very important that we have that, because it also helps to monitor our blood content, and it produces the T cells in our body, okay? Without that, your blood will not be the proper health levels that we need. So that's the first thing you need to know about the immune system, what it is, what it does. Now, the second thing is that the immune system is like a massive computer. And in that, it keeps a record of every germ or microbe that has ever gotten in your body and created a problem, okay? And the reason it does that, because that is what is called immunity. Because you've heard about this particular virus, and it says that if you have the virus, they say that once you have it, the odds again and again are small. And that is because of the immune system keeps track of it. And once you beat it, it makes sure that it has a record of what to do if it should enter your body. Now, that's all predicated on how strong you keep your immune system. So if your immune system is allowed to crash, then obviously, then all bets are off, because the body doesn't have the energy to protect itself, all right? So if a person has had, well, let me back up. Understand the viruses. There are over 685 viruses in your body that's went through your body, in your body is fighting, because there's a constant fight in your body about keeping yourself well. It's not, we beat it, it's done, it's gone, okay? Anybody that's ever had cancer understands that. You have cancer, you have to work, if you win the battle, you have to keep working to keep it from coming back to your body. And nobody can ever tell you that you'll never get it back again. What we can tell you is that if you maintain a strong immune system and do the things you need to do to keep your body strong and keep the bad bacteria out of your body as much as you can, your odds of getting it again drop dramatically, okay? So we have to understand that even though that this computer functions that way, there's no guarantee that you're not going to get this virus or any other virus that we've had in our body. So those of you who went through Candida, which is a virus, if you don't maintain a strong immune system, guess what you get back, or could get back? Candida, okay? So it's a never-ending process about being well. It's constant working on your body and doing the things that you have to do. And some people, because of your DNA makeup, have to work harder at certain things than others. As we get older, we have to work harder to stay well than we would when we're Jenna's age, okay? Because she's young, her immune system is much stronger than, say, mine is, even though I'm still quite young, you know, but that aside. We have to understand that age weakens the immune system, and that means that our immunity will drop as we get older. So oftentimes people say, well, I don't do nearly the things I did when I was young, but yet I have these problems I never had before. And that is because you don't have the strong immune system, and partially it is because of things we did when we were young And if we pay for those later on in life, even though we think we quit doing it. I'll give you an example. I get people that tell me, are diagnosed with something, a lung problem or lung cancer even, and they say, well, I gave up smoking 30 years ago. How could I have gotten lung cancer? It's because of a lot of what we did then is still in our system, and it affects our lungs, and it's been keep on working in the lungs negatively, and we've not done the things we needed to do to clean everything out to help the immune system battle that issue. Okay, so a lot of infections, for example, the flu and the common cold, have to be fought. Viruses and strains come across, and the reason for that is just like the body has a system to fight it and win, every one of those viruses has the ability to try to defeat the body. So therefore, when we talk about different strains, it's called different DNA for that particular virus. Now, some of you that have been following the news, and I hope you're not following it too much, but if you're following the news about this virus, they're talking about another virus that they're finding that's affecting kids. Because they said early on, this virus doesn't affect kids, okay? And all of a sudden, bingo, they're finding out that it is affecting some kids, and it's affecting their blood vessels, it's affecting the way the blood is carried, and it's actually affecting their eyes, okay? So what happens is the virus changes DNA. That is why I'm telling everybody, if you have this virus through your body, you fight it off, you're fine, etc. The virus will come back. There will be another virus that's going to come back, but with a little bit different DNA to it. And then that will spread. So we're never, ever going to be out of the woods. And I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but that's just the way it is as we live our life and with everything that's happening. Some of it can be contributed to a lot of the things that have been done in our society, pollutants, etc. I'll give you that, okay? But it's nonetheless, that's something that we have to face day in and day out, and don't get complacent that, you know what, I'm healthy or I beat it and it's done. Okay, again, catching the cold, catching the virus, having the flu does not mean that you are prone not to get it again. And you have to understand that the every single virus that we get actually helps your immune system. The only way it doesn't help your immune system is if it kills you, okay? But by getting these viruses in your body and getting these microbes in your body and getting these bacteria in your body, actually helps to build your immunity. Because when I was young, I'm going to tell you, I grew up on a dairy farm. I was outside. I was handling cattle. When I played, I was in the mud, in the dirt, etc. That actually helps build your immunity. And kids today, a lot of times, are not doing any of that stuff. And therefore, they're finding that they have a weaker immune system than we used to have, partially because of the way our environment is today, and partially because they haven't done the things and let their body get into this stuff to build immune system, all right? So if you have children, grandchildren, let them get outside and get dirty. Don't worry about it, okay? It is part of the immune system, is part of healing, and is part of them having a good time. So now, Herring's law of cure, okay? Symptoms of chronic disease disappear in definite order, all right? Symptoms move from more vital organs to less vital organs. So when you get a virus, for example, we use this virus, and it attacks the lungs, that is your primary organ that it's going to attack. That is the big one. Once you get rid of it, it will actually move to lesser important organs or vital organs, okay? And normally what happens is, just like I tell people when they're on programs, your body's going to heal top to bottom. So most of the time you will get it. So a lot of times people will get head colds and chest colds. And because it's the upper part of the body, and then it will start to actually move down. Most people that get a head cold, later on it'll move down into the chest. And sometimes people say, I had a head cold, now it's moved into my chest and it's a chest cold. But that is exactly the way the cure works. And it's got to work that way in order for the body to deal with it and strike it from your body and have the DNA or the understanding of what that DNA is to prevent that particular exact virus from invading your body again, okay? Now, understand that we do not catch diseases, okay? So people say, oh, I caught the flu. No, you really didn't catch the flu, because if that was the case, most of us would put our hands down. We wouldn't want to catch it, all right? We get it by creating a breakdown of the natural defenses in our body. And that's done by the way we eat, the way we drink, the way we think, the way we live, etc. And I want to go back to the third one, the way we think, all right? We have to think positive. There's an old saying, if you think you're going to fail, what's normally going to happen? You're going to fail. If you think you're going to win, most times you'll win. But we have to believe. We have to believe in ourselves, in our body, that we can do it and will do it. All right? We cannot think that, you know what, it's just going to happen. Positivity will create positive health. Negativity will create negative health. That I promise you. Okay? So when it's time to detox and people are mumbling and grumbling and, oh, I don't wanna, you're probably not gonna have a good detox. If you think about the positivity of a detox and say, you know what, I'm gonna detox and it's gonna help me, it'll help you. If you think detoxing is gonna be hard, I promise you, it's going to be hard. If you think it's gonna be easy and 3 days are gonna fly by, that's what's gonna happen. So I wanna kind of zero in on the positive thinking. With everything that's going on right now, sometimes it's hard to be positive. When you're locked up in your house, you can't go anywhere. You got to wear a mask everywhere you go. You go into a store, you have to wear a mask. You're afraid of everybody. You can't hug anybody. Human touch is so important for our immune system, and we really can't do that now, okay? So we have to understand that we just have to do everything in our power to stay positive. So it's really, really imperative to follow the Herring's law of cure. And that goes back to all those things I mentioned: eating properly, drinking the right stuff, staying hydrated, thinking positively, and living a positive lifestyle, okay? Be in relationships that are positive, not negative, okay? If you have negative people around you, get rid of them. Just like you get rid of negative food, because that will break down your immune system. Make them change, get them to change, or get rid of it. All right? So that is the second step. The third, abnormalities of the immune system will lead to many, many autoimmune deficiencies and autoimmune disorders, okay? When we have abnormality, now, people always talk about allergies. I'm going to tell you that we're not allergic to virtually anything, okay? It is an autoimmune deficiency, an immune response negatively to something that the body is not recognizing. Why is it not recognizing? Because it goes back to what we talked about with your red blood cells. It doesn't recognize what that is. So somebody tells me I'm allergic to onions. Onions is a power food, wonderful for the human body. But if you have an abnormality in your immune system, the body may not recognize that as something positive. They're recognizing it as something negative, which creates a disorder. What is that disorder? It can be a sinus problem. It can be headaches. It can be a skin rash. It can be many things, because the body right away says, this is wrong, this is bad, and tries to get rid of it. And that's the way that the body can get it out of the system, is through the mouth, the nose, through the skin, because skin is your largest limited organ in the body. So we're not allergic to things, but if we have enough allergic reactions, that just keeps on breaking down the immune system, which can lead to the autoimmune deficiencies and the autoimmune disorders. All right. So what we're talking about when we say autoimmune diseases, they are diseases ranging from common issues to rare things. They can include things like multiple sclerosis, thyroid diseases, diabetes, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, many other things that go on in our body that we go to the doctor for and we get put on a drug. And while I'm on this, the thing about drugs, for every chemical you put in your body, it breaks down the immune system. Might make you feel better for a little while, but it breaks down the immune system, okay? So the less chemicals we put in our body, no matter how we get them, the better off and the stronger our immune system is going to be. So underactivity of the immune system is also called immune deficiency. There are certain things that can be inherited in this vein, but as most of you have heard me say, only 5% of all disease is inherited. The rest are bought and paid for by what we've done to our body. Okay, so 5%. You know, if you have a heart valve that's not proper, that can create a disease that can be hereditary. Okay. Medical treatments. This can occur due to medications such as corticosteroids and chemotherapy, which kills all the cells in our body, good and bad. The trick to staying healthy for a long period of time and living a solid life is not to ever be on steroids or chemo and radiation. Okay, those two things will break down our immune system. There's a saying that people never die from cancer. They die from the complications of treating it. All right, because of what we have to do to our system in order to try to kill the cancer cell. And that is why, if no other reason that you want to take good care of yourself, is to make sure that you don't have to go through those kind of treatments. Okay. Immune deficiencies can be caused by another disease. Okay, so if you have a certain type of disease, then that particular disease, and through treating that disease, can actually cause another issue with your body and a breakdown of the immune system. So now, other ways that our body can protect itself against microbes other than the red and white blood cells is skin. Skin is such an important thing to take care of. You know, when people say my skin is dry, it's cracking, that means you have a weakened immune system. The skin should never be dry and cracked. Now, I will tell you, and most of you I think will agree, that with all this hand washing we're doing, you probably have dry hands. If you're using the hand sanitizers, you're going to have, because those sanitizers kill the good and the bad bacteria on your skin. You have to have some bad bacteria. We kill good and bad. You're much more apt to have skin problems or a weak immune system because there's no protection from the skin. Now, I know somebody's saying, well, they tell me that we're supposed to do it. Okay, do it, but when you're at home, use something that's antibacterial. Okay, don't use it at home. All right, you don't need to use it at home. Use something that's healthy for your body. I personally use our wash. Okay, I don't use any hand sanitizers in the grocery store, nowhere. I don't use it. I use the wash, okay, because it keeps my hands from being overly dry. The lungs, okay, so lungs, when they get trapped foreign particles, small hairs, what happens is the lungs actually move everything up and they help to get rid of it, which is called phlegm. So when we get phlegm and we're spitting up phlegm and we're coughing up phlegm, that means that we have microbes, bad bacteria in our lungs, okay, and that needs to be removed. Now, oftentimes, if we don't take care of that, we end up taking inhalers, okay, because we can't breathe. If you don't let that phlegm come out and get rid of that, what happens is you will actually end up with a low level of lung capacity because of the fact that your lungs are full of waste rather than oxygen. And earlier we talked about the importance of having strong lungs so that the red blood cells can pick up the oxygen and move it back in through all the organs in our body. But if you're shallow breathing because you have a lung problem or you're low lung capacity, then what happens is the rest of your organs are not going to get the proper amount of oxygen. And without oxygen, you can't live. Without oxygen, your organs can't function properly. So it's that important to make sure that your lungs are clean, okay? So if somebody tells you that you need to be on an inhaler does not fix it. And oftentimes when people say I exercise or I do something, it's hard to breathe. That's because what's happening is you're getting oxygen into your lungs, and that oxygen lifts the waste and moves it up. So it makes it hard, feels like it's hard to breathe. By taking a steroid, you're just stuffing it back in your lungs, okay? And you don't want to do it. Plus, we already talked about the hazards of steroids. Okay, the other thing is our digestive tract. Our digestive tract has mucus lining that contains antibodies and stomach acid that kills most of our microbes. Again, when I do the Zyto test, oftentimes I see stressors, probiotic bacteria, which means we don't have enough friendly bacteria in the intestinal tract to kill the microbes, the unhealthy bacteria that's in our body. Now, once we start having problems in our digestive tract, what happens is it starts affecting the mind. So again, I go back to the thing we've talked about before, gut-brain connection. Your gut doesn't have the proper friendly bacteria, nor does your brain. So people that have gut problems normally will have anger problems. They'll have mood problems, different things like that, but it's not because they're mentally off. You might think they are, but really it's intestinal tract that's off. And again, that comes back to everything working together and working to make one system work very, very well. So that's why it's important to use digestive enzymes. Digestive enzymes will help to break everything down so that you get the proper stomach acids and intestinal tract acids. Your other defenses than your skin is the oil that's in your body, your saliva and tears. They contain antibacterial enzymes to reduce the risk of infection. So it's okay to cry, okay? If your eyes start tearing, you may have, and you don't know why, you probably pick something up from outside, and that's the body's method of getting rid of it, okay? Let it happen. Let it work. That's one reason they say a good cry can pay dividends, okay? Fever. Fever is fabulous if you picked up problems in your body. Now, a lasting fever is not good, but a short fever is good because what happens is it burns off the bacteria. So when people get a fever, oftentimes they want to run to the doctor or they want to take a Tylenol or whatever it might be to get rid of it. Really, you don't want to do that. You want the fever to run its course. to let the fever to burn off whatever the problem is. So if you have children and they get a fever, don't run them to the doctor and be put on an antibiotic, okay? Let the fever run. Stay warm, get under blankets, and let yourself sweat. That's what you want to do. Most people want to take the blanket, throw it off, so they cool down. That is not what you want. You want it to sweat. You want that warm because it'll come out through the skin, like we talked about before, and it'll help to kill everything off, okay? You'll get well much faster if you stay warm and let it sweat it out. The important thing is, wash those blankets once the fever breaks, wash it, drink lots and lots of water when you have the fever, so it gets, you have the fluids in order to restore what's being burned off in the body, all right? Okay, that also, the fever triggers a repair process that's very, very important. So you don't want to minimize having a fever. Okay, signs of a toxic body, okay, are many, many things. And oftentimes you're going to hear, just like when people talk about this virus, they say, well, it can be this and you can have that. Well, almost every autoimmune problem has a lot of the same exact issues that come aboard. But signs of a toxic body or causes of a toxic body will kind of, in smoking, obviously, not sleeping properly, your body's not strong enough and rested enough, it can't fight for you. Underweight. I had a client in today whose sister is underweight, and she doesn't want to come and see me because she thinks it's all about weight loss. Being underweight is just as bad as being overweight as far as immune system. Problems with mental confusion, stress. Again, I always ask this question, anybody out there under stress? I doubt any of my clients have stress, but that's a wonderful thing for coming to alternative health. Okay? Headaches, feeling shaky, yeast infections, cravings, addictions, eating disorders, allergies that I mentioned earlier, lack of energy. Okay, people out here all the time, I have no energy. Digestive issues, gas, bloating, skin blemishes, fatigue, high blood pressure, low blood pressure, high cholesterol. Those are all signs of a toxic body. Again, a lot of those things, especially some of the ones I mentioned later, what do? We take almost all of those, we take a chemical, and that chemical actually breaks down the immune system even farther. So we're not getting ahead, we're only trying to do something for the moment to make us feel better or prevent a problem. When I hear somebody say, my blood pressure is fine, and I've been on medication for it for 10 years, it's not fine, okay? You have to be able to say it's fine when you have no medication and your blood pressure is right. That's when it's fine, not when you're on a drug, all right? When you have digestive problems, that is so much of an autoimmune deficiency. Okay, so the top 4 ways to compromise your immune system. So I'm going to give you the ways that you can actually make your immune system bad if you want to, okay? All right, so eat sugar. If you want to compromise your immune system, eat sugar, all right? The number 1 way to become unhealthy is to eat sugar or too much sugar. And not just sugar, but all the things that they say is sugar or tastes like sugar, but it isn't sugar. Those are even worse than sugar. Eat processed foods. Now, when I say processed foods, I'm talking about everything from deli meats. I'm talking about things like canned foods. I'm talking about things that are pre-prepared, sent to your door, and they're all set there. They have something in them that should not be, all right? Alcohol. Now, I'm not going to tell you never to have anything with a little bit of sugar or whatever, and nor am I going to tell you never have a drink. But anything more than a treat becomes excess, okay? Same with food, same with everything else that we do in our life. It has to be in moderation. Last week we talked about the superfoods. We talked about the next category was abundance. Those are the two ways you should be eating, okay? Superfoods and abundance. The rest of it should not be in your body, okay? The toxic levels should not be there. Very, very rare. Unless you're celebrating your 34th wedding anniversary, you can have some cake. Okay, so stress. The problem with stress is this, is that once we come under stress, we do all the other things that we shouldn't do. We eat wrong, we drink, we do the things that are going to break it down. It doesn't get rid of the stress. It only makes the stress worse and makes your health worse. So please work on stress first and foremost. Some people just can't deal with the stress, but you got to work on it because stress will create many other problems, depression. I mean, so many other things that is very hard to get out of. And most people look for something else to help them get out of it, which are never the good things, okay? So if we want to have more about stress, then we can talk about that. Now, what can you do to improve your immune system? Something I say virtually every class, detox, detox, detox. One gentleman that's on here right now is Tony. He called me yesterday and asked me, I just detoxed a month ago. Can I do it again? I just feel I need it. Yes. The answer is yes. If you feel it, do it. Okay. So that was Tony. Tony's going to do his cleanse about 3.5 weeks after he got done with the other one. Your body will tell you when you need a reset. It'll tell you. Understand that when you have bad health, your body wants to keep going bad. When you have good health, your body wants to keep getting good. Give you an example. Those of you who exercise, when you exercise and really get into exercise, you look forward to exercise, don't you? You want to exercise, okay? When you get away from exercise, tell me how hard it is to get back into it, okay? Because that's just the way our body will go on a track. So if we're on a track to be unhealthy, we're just going to keep going down that track. And in our brain, we're going to have an excuse for everything. Excuse why I can't eat right, why I can't drink the proper amount of water, why I can't detox, why I can't go on a program. We have all the excuses, and we have to eliminate the excuses because it's only that, an excuse. And it's an excuse for saying I'm unhealthy, and it's not my fault. 95% of poor health is our fault. My poor health was my fault. It wasn't anything else. At first, I blamed it on everything except me. But you know what? When I look in hindsight, it was all me. It wasn't anybody else. I chose to eat those burgers. I chose to drink that beer. I chose not to do anything for myself, okay? I chose it. Nobody made me do it. I did it. That's what we have to get into. So we have to listen to our body. When it goes bad, we got to say stop. When it's going good, we got to say keep going. We have to remove the immune suppressors, which means we have to eat right. We have to get rid of the things that is causing the problems, and that is done by cleaning out your body. And then we have to maximize and increase our immune system by taking the proper nutrition, making sure we're keeping our skin healthy, doing those kind of things, getting rid of the toxins that we put on or in our body, and take care of ourselves, okay? That's what we can do to increase our immune system. So why do I stress detoxing all the time? Because it resets the body. You sleep better, you have a stronger immune system, your skin looks better, you get rid of bloating, you have regular elimination. If you carry the crap in you, you're gonna look like crap. If you carry the crap in you, you're gonna feel like crap, okay? So that's just the way it is. You hold it in. It's just like if you have crappy friends, you're gonna feel like crap. Just the way it goes, all right? Get rid of the crap. So, and you do that by doing a good detox, resetting your body, and it fights off illnesses and ensures that your body will work to its maximum potential, all right? But one detox does not fix everything. I get people say, oh, I'm gonna detox once a year. Okay, I say this, then change oil in your car once a year. heck with it. All right. Your body's more important than your car. So why do you change the oil 4 times or so a year and you only clean out your body once a year? It's foolish thinking. Okay. My body's much more important than my car. I can get another one. I can't get another one of these. So the 4 ways to keep our immune system functioning at optimum levels. What we want to do, we want to eat nutrient-dense foods. Okay. You see a picture there of a kiwi. Wonderful one. If you're going to eat fruit, eat berries and eat kiwi. Okay. Move, exercise. I see Deb up there doing some exercise while we're talking. Okay. I don't know if she's bored listening to this or she just wants to exercise. I can't decide. All right. I'm getting a complex, Deb. Sleep. Sleep is so important. I bet you 80% of the people I work with have had or have a sleep problem. All right. I was talking to a gentleman this weekend, says, I can get by on 2-3 hours sleep a night. That is not true. Not true. You think you can because you've convinced yourself and you're doing other things to try, but it's going to get you. You have to sleep and you have to sleep sound. Your body cannot keep on going on 2, 3, 4 hours sleep day in and day out. So that gentleman I mentioned is I'm looking at him right now on the screen, so I won't say the name, but he knows who he is. Okay, you can't be healthy doing that. You have to sleep the right times. You can't stay up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and then think you're going to sleep till 9, 10 and be healthy. It doesn't work. You need to get sleep. That's why nighttime workers, shift workers struggle with their health a lot of times because they're not sleeping at the right times. So think about that. Okay, sleep. Your food. That's why we zytotest as much as we can so we can see what your body needs, what it's lacking, what you should be putting in. Okay, so those are the 4 top ways to take care of your immune system. I think I have talked enough. I'm going to turn it over for questions. So if you have a question, raise your hand. We'll unmute you and you can ask and then everybody can hear the answer. No questions. Okay, I got Michael, go ahead.
Okay, John, during my my liquid days, I was wondering if I could take that instant meal there.
No, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say no. If a person gets into a point where they just say, I have to have something else, I must. If you have a half a serving, okay, but it's best not to, okay? Because even though it's liquid, your body has to break it away from any form of digestion to help clean out the intestinal tract. Okay. So the answer is no, but again, I've had people say, I got so hungry, I ate some shrimp. Okay, instant meal's better, okay? If you, so don't, I say no, but if you absolutely positively have to, then that's why I'm claiming. Okay, any other question?
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Who else has a question? Deb.
Yeah, on that subject, I talked to Jenna earlier. I'm on day 3 of my cleanse, and last month I had a super bad crash on the 3rd night. Happened to me last night. I got really shaky, nauseated, dizzy, and so I did because a couple weeks ago you had talked about if you get real shaky, so I did half a serving of Emily's and wasn't feeling anything like improve right away. I know it might take some time, so I ate half of the smallest organic gala apple, which I know you had suggested half an apple if you absolutely have to eat something. And I was like cold sweats kind of reaction. I still didn't feel any better. So then I did a Radiance drink as well. Thank God I woke up feeling, well, actually didn't have a very good night's sleep at all. But today I felt much stronger and like I can complete my 3rd day just fine. So.
Okay, let me address that. Whenever that happens and you're detoxing, the first thing you do, you grab your Slenderade and you pop about 3 to 4 Slenderade all at once. And then you take your maple syrup and you put a couple of tablespoons of maple syrup, just eat that and drink water behind it. Okay.
No problem.
That will get rid of it, because what you just described is a blood sugar crash. Okay. So the blood sugar crash means you're not getting enough to balance the blood sugar. So for you, you might start putting in more maple syrup in your drink as a regular basis. You know how the lines are? Add more all the time, because that'll help your blood sugar.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll keep a little shot glass by it.
Yes. Okay. You can pretend it is whatever you want it to be, but yes, I would highly recommend that you use extra maple syrup. And Michael, when you ask that question, if you feel overly hungry, add extra maple syrup. All right. You don't want to overdo it, but we don't want a blood sugar crash. All right. Yep. And what Deb described is a blood sugar crash. The nausea, feeling headachy, weak, dizzy, that's all blood sugar. That's your body saying, I need something. Now, a lot of people get that when they want to eat sugar. So what they'll do, they'll turn and eat a Snickers bar. Okay. That'll do it too. But it's not what your body needs. All right. So in that case, do it that way. Okay.
Yes, thank you. And I didn't realize you could see me. I wouldn't have been exercising in front of the screen while
That's
you were
okay.
talking.
That's all right.
See me.
You know, probably better than other things you could have been doing. You know, I'm just saying. Okay, who else has a question? Miguel. Where's Miguel?
Hello. Hi, John.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good, Miguel. How are you?
Good, good. I have a question. When we detoxing, can we juicing every day or on a liquid days? Can we juice them?
You can. Juicing, you can juice as long as you're juicing. Now, there's 2 different things there. If you're taking vegetables and pulverizing them, that's not juicing. Okay, that means your body has to break the fiber down. If you juice where you separate the pulp from the juice, you can do that. Yes. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that's the same thing like that I did it when I was when I have the cancer. Remember?
That's correct. Yes.
That's what
anybody that has cancer has to do that form of juicing. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And remember, you had to do it for 21 straight days.
Yes, I know. All right.
Yes.
Thank you, John.
But I got rid of it. So that's good. Okay. Who else has a question? Okay, Bob.
Up here, unmute. Yeah, unmute.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Bob, I can hear. Yep.
All right. Can you hear me, John?
I can hear you.
So you mentioned earlier, you talked about smoking and vaping.
Mm-hmm.
Which is worse, John?
I'm of the impression that vaping is worse than smoking. That's my opinion.
That would be mine as well. So you're thinking clearly.
Of course. Because there's so much other chemicals. So I've got to believe, I just believe that the more chemicals you put in your body, the worse it is. And there's so much goes in all the time. I just can't believe that it's any better than smoking. So if, both of them are bad, obviously, but if it were me, I would say vaping is worse, because vaping kind of came out as, quit smoking and do vaping to get yourself off cigarettes. The problem is most people that vape, they just keep vaping more and more, and there are chemicals in it that are very detrimental to our lungs and our overall health. So
That's exactly what I was thinking, but you had mentioned it earlier, so I wanted to know what you thought about it.
Yeah, that's my thought. Please don't do either.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody else? Judy?
Yes, hi, John. I just have a question on the detox, the cleanse. I understand it to help with your liver as well. And, you know, which helps with cholesterol and a number of other things, of course. How do you continue that after you do your 7-day, 10-day cleanse as far as working on your liver? Would that be from any of the supplements that you can take or the diet?
Okay,
Maybe a
first and
fast
foremost,
day?
the most important thing you do after detoxing is what you eat. It still comes back to eating. Everything, every health issue. As I'm sitting here and you